Welcome back to our channel Sankalp Study Success. Today in this video we are going to learn about T distribution. In the T distribution, till now we have learned what is Z distribution, that is normal distribution, right? Now let us study about T distribution. In this chapter, in this video, we are going to learn what is T distribution and the problems related to single mean and difference of two means. So there are two types of problem. The first one is single mean and the second one is difference of two means. So these are the two types of problems which we will solve in this video, and also we will learn about what is T distribution. So let us see what is T distribution. Generally T distribution is used for small samples only. Okay, so this is used for testing of hypothesis when the sample size is small and the population standard deviation is unknown. So in this case we are going to use T distribution when sample size is small and the population standard deviation is unknown. So here let x1, x2 and so on up to xn is a random sample of size small n. That means it is a small sample drawn from the normal population with mu is as mean. Mu is nothing but mean. Then this test statistics T is equals to, this is our formula, x bar minus mu by sigma by root n. So by using this formula we will find out what is test statistics in T distribution. T is equals to x bar minus mu by s by root n. Here previously we were using sigma by root n, but in this case now we will use s by root n. Then here mu is already given, x bar will be already given, and n is nothing but the size of the sample. Then how will you find s value? S is nothing but standard deviation, right? Sample standard deviation. In order to find standard deviation, first we will find what is the variance. So s square is equals to summation of xi minus x bar whole square by n minus 1. This is the variance. So now by just keeping the square root to the variance, we will find the standard deviation, correct? So the formula of standard deviation is s is equals to square root of summation of xi minus x bar whole square by n minus 1, where n is the sample size. In this way you will find out the standard deviation. Here the test statistics which is already given, T is equals to x bar minus mu by s by root n, is a random variable having T distribution where mu is equals to n minus 1. This is nothing but degree of freedom. We will learn it in the next slides now. So this is degrees of freedom with probability density function. It is given as 1 plus t square by nu whole power nu plus 1 by 2. This is the formula if degrees of freedom is given. It is the formula for probability density function, right? So here nu is nothing but n minus 1. Here nu, which is degree of freedom, which is n minus 1, which is we have already learned it here, and also c is the constant obtained by just integrating this f of t. If you integrate f of t, generally if you do integration then you will get an integration constant, so it is nothing but c. So now what is degrees of freedom is? Here the number of degrees of freedom is defined as the number of values in a set which may be assigned randomly. Here you will just assign randomly for number of values in a set. So this is nothing but degrees of freedom. Here if n is sample size, then what is the degree of freedom? Nu is n minus 1. This is the formula of degree of freedom. You will find it as n minus 1. This is nothing but degrees of freedom. And now let us see some of the properties of T distribution. This may be asked for the theory for 1 mark question also. And here there is a graph which is 0 to t, and here there is f of t. Now let us see what are the properties of T distribution. The shape of T distribution, it is a bell-shaped curve. This is a bell-shaped curve. That means what? This is a bell-shaped curve, right? So the graph of T distribution is a bell-shaped curve, which is similar to normal distribution, because in the normal distribution also the curve was in the bell-shaped curve only, and it is symmetrical about its mean. See here, it is in symmetry, right? If you just take like this, then you will get it as symmetrical about mean. So shape of the t distribution is a bell shaped curve, which is again similar to the normal distribution, and it is symmetrical about its mean. Now the t distribution curve is also asymptotic to t-axis. Okay, t distribution curve is also asymptotic to its t-axis. Now it is symmetrical about the line t is equal to 0. See here, it is t is equals to 0 here, and it is symmetrical about this line. Okay, now mean, median and mode coincides at t is equals to 0. Okay, here there is t is equal to 0. Here in this case, here when t is equal to 0, then mean, median and mode coincides. Now last one is the form of the probability curve varies with degrees of freedom. That means what? Sample size, degree of freedom value is nothing but n minus 1, right? That means it is varying with sample size also. We can say if the probability curve is varying with the degrees of freedom, that means it is also varying with the sample size. So these are the properties of t distribution, which you may get it for 1 mark question, because now your paper pattern is nothing but 40 and 60, right, for the SEM. So you are having the 1 mark questions. So for that 1 mark questions, you may get it from t distribution properties also. So it is important to learn. Now let us go into test of significance for single mean. Starting of the video, we have said that there are two types of problems which we are going to solve. The first one is test of significance for single mean. This is the first one. So now let us consider a random sample of size n, which is n is less than 30, because it is t distribution is used for the small samples. How can you say that sample is small or large? You can say that if n is less than 30, then it is a small sample. If n is greater than or equal to 30, then it is a large sample. So in this case, the size n is less than 30, which has sample mean of x bar, to test the hypothesis that the population mean has value minus mu naught when the population standard deviation is not known. Here we will use t distribution when population standard deviation is not known, correct? So now how do you find out for the single mean? See, the first step is null hypothesis. Here the first one is null hypothesis. How can you denote null hypothesis is by using H naught. So, which is nothing but mu is equals to mu naught. If mu is equals to mu naught, then you will say that it is a null hypothesis. Otherwise, the step 2 is alternative hypothesis. If mu is not mu naught, or if mu is greater than mu naught, or mu is less than mu naught, then you will say that it is alternative hypothesis. You will denote this alternative hypothesis with H1. So you can say that mu is not equals to mu naught, and also you can say that mu may be greater than mu naught, or mu is less than mu naught. So like this, alternative hypothesis is defined. So coming to the third step, it is level of significance, which is nothing but it is denoted by alpha. So alpha value will be given in the question itself. So from that you can take level of significance. Now coming to the test statistics, which is the most important one, where we will use the t distribution formula. So test statistics is equals to t is equals to x bar minus mu by s by root n, because here s is nothing but here it is a sample standard deviation. Previously we were used to use sigma, but here it is sample standard deviation. So now how do you find out sample standard deviation? By using the formulas square root of sigma of summation of, that means summation of xi minus x bar whole square by n minus 1, right? N minus 1 is nothing but degree of freedom only. So now let us solve one problem related to this single mean, so that we will have clear idea. So and also, how can you, when you will say whether this is accepted and whether it is rejected, that means H naught, which is nothing but null hypothesis is accepted or null hypothesis is rejected. That means here mod t is less than t alpha by 2. That means if you find out t alpha by 2 value from the t distribution table, and if you find out mod t value by simplifying the question, then if mod t value which you got is less than the t alpha by 2 value, then you can say that the null hypothesis is accepted. But if your value is greater than t alpha by 2 value, then you can say that null hypothesis is rejected. So in this way you can say null hypothesis is accepted or rejected. So these are the 5 steps which we follow in order to solve t distribution problems for single mean. So here we are also having a small concept which is nothing but confidence interval. What is confidence interval for t distribution? It is given as x bar minus t alpha by 2 s by root n comma x bar plus t alpha by 2 s by root n. This is for two-tailed. Okay, for one-tailed it is x bar minus t alpha. Here for one-tailed you will take alpha, for two-tailed you will take alpha by 2. That means the formula is same, just you are taking the value as alpha by 2 in this case and alpha in this case. Okay, here t alpha by 2 and s by root n, this is nothing but the max error. That means this one. Okay, t alpha by 2 into s by root n is the max error, and here in this case for one tail t alpha s by root n is the standard maximum error. Okay, what is the standard error then? Which is nothing but s by root n. Previously standard error was sigma by root n, but in this case the standard error is s by root n. So this is nothing but the confidence interval. Now let us find out the first solution by using t distribution of single mean. So here what he says is the average breaking strength of steel rod is 18.5 thousand pounds. That means the strength of steel rod is given as 18.5 thousand pounds, and to test this sample of 14 steel rods are tested with the mean and standard deviation respectively. They are given as mean is equals to 17.85 and standard deviation is 1.955. So now let us write the values which are given in the question. Given information, we will write it here. Small n is equals to 14. That means n is less than 30, right? That's the reason we are applying t distribution. Okay, so now mean is given as x bar is equal to 17.85, and also we are given with the standard deviation. Here in the standard deviation previously we were using sigma, but now we will use s as to denote the standard deviation. So in order to denote standard deviation we will use s is equals to 1.955. This is the standard deviation here. Now what is the average breaking strength of steel rod? This is nothing but average breaking strength. That means it is nothing but mu, correct? Mu is equals to 18.5. Now here you are also given with level of significance, that is alpha, which is equals to 5%. This is the given information in the question. So now we need to follow all the 5 steps which we have learned previously. So what is the step 1, which is null hypothesis? Step 1 is null hypothesis. That means you will denote it by h naught, which is mu is equals to mu naught. What is mu naught, which is given value as 18.5? So mu is equals to 18.5. So here in step 2, which is h1, that means what? It is alternative hypothesis. Here h1, it means what? Mu is not equal to mu naught, right? That means mu is not equals to 18.5. This is the alternative hypothesis, which is nothing but step 2. So now coming to the step 3, which is nothing but level of significance, which is alpha. It is given in the question itself, which is nothing but 5%. So let us write it here. Now coming to the step 4, we are going to find out test statistics of t. That means what? T is equals to x bar minus mu by s by root n. This is nothing but the t value. Okay, test statistics value. That means let us substitute all the values which we know in the t, so that we will get the value of t here. X bar is nothing but 17.85 and mu value is 18.5, right? And divided by s value. What is s value? 1.955, which is already given. and then it is divided by root n. Root n is nothing but square root of 14. So we have substituted all the values, and if we simplify this, we will get it as minus 1.24. The value of t is minus 1.24. We are done with the test statistics. Now let us go into step 5, which is, here you have to check whether the null hypothesis is accepted or the null hypothesis is rejected. Then how can we find? First of all, we have to find T alpha by 2. That means T 5 by 2 value from the T distribution table. So 5 by 2 is nothing but 0.25, right? So this value of T alpha by 2 is nothing but 2.160. Here the value which we got is less than the value from the T distribution table. So mod T is less than T alpha by 2. Sorry, it is not alpha, it is less than, right? So mod T is less than T alpha by 2. So if it is less than T alpha by 2, then we can say that null hypothesis is accepted, correct? From the step 5, you can say that null hypothesis is accepted. Okay, so in this way you have to find out the T distribution problems. That means using 5 steps. The first one is the null hypothesis, the second one goes alternative hypothesis, and the third one is, which is already given in the question, that is level of significance. Fourth is the test statistics, and fifth is where you have to check whether null hypothesis is accepted or it is rejected. And coming to the question, here they are also asking to find out confidence interval. So let us see what is confidence interval. Confidence interval value. Okay. We know that, what is the formula of confidence interval? We know that the formula is, let us write the formula here, x bar minus T alpha by 2 s by root n, comma x bar plus T alpha by 2 s by root n. This is the formula, right? This is the formula of confidence interval. So let us substitute all the values here. X bar is nothing but 17.85 minus T alpha by 2, we got it as 2.160 into S value is 1.955 and the root n is nothing but root 14, comma, here the same thing but the sign is different. Minus is changed to plus. That's it, right? So 1.955 divided by root 14. So now if you further simplify this, you will get it as 16.72 comma 18.978. So this is the confidence interval which we got for the given question. So in this way you have to just remember each and every formula so that you will get every problem will become very easy. So in this way you have to find out this problem. Now let us see one more problem which is of the same T distribution problem only, which is nothing but, here it is given as a random sample of 10 rice bags are given for us, taken from the shop and whose weights are given in kgs. That means what? Here directly mu and sigma are not given. That means mu and s are not given. Here we have to find out mu and s. How do you find out mu? It is nothing but the sum of observations by number of observations, right? Because it is mean. So we have to find out by ourselves, and also we have to test whether the average weight can be taken 50 kgs, and also you have to find out the confidence interval also. So now first of all, what is the given value? What is given in the question? Let us write all the given information. Solution. First of all, here mu is equals to 50 kgs, right? Because it is average weight. Okay. Mu is equals to 50 kgs. Now there are a total of 10 bags. That means it is the n value, right? N value is less than 30. That's the reason we are applying T distribution here. If n value is 10, then what will be the nu, which is n minus 1? That is 10 minus 1 is 9, right? So we have written all the values which are given in the question. If in the question level of significance is not given, then you have to consider it as 5%. If in the question if it is given, then we will consider the given value. If in the question if level of significance is not given, then we will consider the value as 5%. So now we have to find out x bar. X bar can be found by sum of all these observations by number of observations. So let us solve it. 40 plus 49 plus 51 plus 44 plus 45 and 48 and 46. Again we are having 45, 49 and 45. So the total value is 10, right? Number of observations are 10. So let us divide it by 10. So now what is the value of x bar is 47.2. If you simplify this, you will get the value as 47.2. Now we also have to find out s value. So s value is nothing but square root of the variance. So we are going to find out s square, then we will find out s. So what is s square, which is summation of xi minus x bar whole square divided by 10, correct? 10 which is nu minus 1, that is which is n minus 1, that is means what here, 10 minus 1, which is 9. In this variance we are going to here find out n minus 1, that is nothing but 9. So here 50 minus mu is nothing but x bar is nothing but 47.2 whole square plus 49 minus 47.2 whole square plus and so on up to here the last one is 45. So 45 minus 47.2 whole square divided by 9. So in this way you have to find out s square. S square value is nothing but 9, right? Here we are having s square value is nothing but, here if you solve this then you will get it as, just a minute, here we will get it as 6.17, right? Here this is nothing but s square. What is s then? Which is nothing but square root of 6.17, right? What is square root of 6.17? Which is nothing but 2.48. Now we are having each and every value. So now let us solve it step by step, okay? What is the first step, which is nothing but the null hypothesis? Step 1, which is nothing but the null hypothesis, that is h naught, which is denoted by h naught. It is nothing but mu is equals to mu naught. That means what? Mu naught value is 50, which is already given in this case. So mu is equals to mu naught. Now let us go to the step 2, which is nothing but alternative hypothesis h1. Okay, here mu is not equal to 50. We will consider mu is not equal to mu naught, right? Mu naught is nothing but 50. So mu is not equal to 50. Now step 3, which is nothing but level of significance. Step 3, level of significance alpha, which is equals to 5%. Alpha value is 5%, which is not given in the question. If it is not given, we have to consider 5%. So now let us find out the step 4, which is the test statistics by using the T formula, that is T is equals to x bar minus mu by s by root n, correct? So by using this formula, let us substitute all the values which we have, that is 47.2 minus 50 by s by root n, that means 2.48 by square root of 10. Then you will get the value as minus 3.57. So this is the value of t. Now you have to find out in the step 5 whether null hypothesis is accepted or it is rejected. That means you have to find out T alpha by 2 from the T distribution table. T alpha by 2 value is nothing but 2.262. That means the value which you got is less than the value of T alpha by 2. That means mod T is less than T alpha by 2. That means what do we get? What can we say here? Which is not, sorry, I'm always writing which is alpha, which is not alpha. This is less than. T is less than T alpha by 2. That means we can say that null hypothesis is accepted. So here null hypothesis is accepted. We have found it. Now let us find what is confidence interval. So we have to just substitute all the values in the confidence interval formula, right? What is the formula of confidence interval is here x bar minus T alpha by 2. Here it is x bar minus T alpha by 2 s by root n, comma x bar plus T alpha by 2 into s by root n. So this is the confidence interval. So now let us substitute all the values in the confidence interval here, which is 47.2 minus 2.262 into 2.48 by root 10, comma Same again, but change in the sign here, plus 2.262 into 2.48 by root n. This is nothing but confidence interval. So on further simplification, you will get the confidence interval as 45.42 comma 48.97. So in this way, we are going to find out the confidence interval. So these are the problems of the first type. That means what? It is of single mean. Now let us see the second type. What is the second type and the problems related to second type? Okay. The second type is test of significance, difference between two means. That means what? Here there are two means are given, x1 bar and x2 bar are sample means of two independent small samples of sizes n1 and n2. That means we are having two samples n1 and n2, and we are having x1 bar and x2 bar are respective means of n1 and n2. Now we have to again follow the same steps but with the different values. That means null hypothesis is nothing but here mu1 is equals to mu2, and here alternative hypothesis is nothing but mu1 is not equal to mu2, or mu1 is greater than mu2, or mu2 is less than mu1 is less than mu2. That means what? Except null hypothesis, remaining all the three conditions will come under alternative hypothesis. And the third step is level of significance. This level of significance will be given in the question, which is alpha. If it is not specified in the question, then you have to take the value as 5%. So now coming to the test statistic, which is the t value. Here the formula is x bar minus y bar, because there are two different means, that is x1 bar minus x2 bar. If you consider it as x and y, then x bar minus y bar by s into square root of 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2. This is this test statistics. Now what is s? Here s is nothing but the formula is summation of xi minus x bar whole square plus summation of yi minus y bar whole square by n1 plus n2 minus 2. You can also write it as n1 s1 square and n2 s2 square for s square. So here where s1 and s2 are the sample standard deviations. Okay, these are the sample standard deviations. So in this way you will find out all the five steps. You will take it and you will find out for two means, the sample difference for two means. So now let us solve the problem. In a mathematics exam, a student of class A and 6 students of class B obtained the following. See here, there are the marks which they obtained here. Then test this hypothesis at 1% level of significance. Here level of significance is not 5%, it is given as 1%. And whether the performance of two classes are equal or not, you have to test it. Here that means here the number of observation for A class is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. There are 9 observations. That means N1 is equals to 9 and N2 is equals to 6. There are 6 observations for the B class, right? So N1 and N2. Now given alpha is equals to 1% in the question. So we are writing all the given values, and nu is equals to N1 plus N2 minus 2, right? N1 plus N2 is nothing but 9 plus 6 minus 2, which is nothing but 13. So now we have to find out x bar and y bar, right? Because in order to find out the test statistics, you have to find out x bar and y bar. What is x bar is 44 plus 71 plus 63. So you have to add all these and divide by number of observations in order to get the mean. So let us divide it by total number of observations are 9. So you will get x bar as 58. So now we will find out what is y bar. Y bar is equals to, we will add all the observations of B class, 52 plus 70 plus 41 plus and so on up to 50, and you will divide by 6 because total number of observations are 6. Here you will get the value as 51.8. So these are the values of mean. That means we have found what is x bar and what is y bar. But now we have to also find what is summation of, here summation of xi minus x bar whole square and also summation of yi minus y bar whole square. That is, how can we find xi minus x bar? X bar is nothing but 58. We are having the x values, xi values. So 44 minus 58. whole square plus the next one is 71 minus 58 whole square plus and so on up to, you have to find out up to the last value, that is 42 minus 58 whole square. So this value will be 872. If you solve it, you will get it as 872. Then we are going to find out yi minus y bar whole square. So for yi minus y bar whole square, if you solve all the values, that means 52 minus the mu here we got is 51.8. 51.8 whole square plus and so on up to the last value, which is nothing but 50 here. 50 minus 51.8 whole square. If you simplify this, you will get it as 804.84. These are the values which you got. Now let us see step by step, which is step 1, which is nothing but the null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is nothing but mu1 is equals to mu2. This is nothing but the null hypothesis. Now coming to the step 2, which is alternative hypothesis. Here it says that mu1 is not equal to mu2. This is the alternative hypothesis, which is exactly opposite to null hypothesis. And in the step 3, which is nothing but level of significance, where alpha is given as 1%. This is the level of significance. Now we are going to find out the test statistics, step 4, that is t value. What is the formula of t, which is x bar minus y bar by s into square root of 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2. This is the formula. So now let us substitute all the values in the t so that we can find out t value. Such as here we know that what is x bar, which is 58 minus 51.8 by, we didn't find s at t, right? So 1 by n1 is 9 and n2 is 6. So square root of 1 by 9 plus 1 by 6. Now what is s square? S square is nothing but, we are having the formula here, sum of both the variations divided by n1 plus n2 minus 2, right? n1 plus n2 minus 2 is 13. So you have to just add this and divide by 13. That means 872 plus 804.84 divide by 13 into 1 by 9 plus 1 by 6. So what is the s square value we got is 128.98. So therefore s is equals to 11.35, which is nothing but the square root of s square. Here this is the fourth step. Now we have to check whether null hypothesis is accepted or null hypothesis is rejected. Here t alpha by 2 value is, from the t distribution table, t alpha by 2 value is 3.012. But here we got the value of, what is the value of t? Oh, we didn't find the value of t yet, right? So here 11.35 is the value of s. This value we have to substitute in the place of s here, right? So if you substitute the value of s here, then you will get the t value as 1.036. Now this is the fourth step. If you compare this t value with the t alpha by 2, that means mod t is less than, again I'm going with the alpha only. It is not alpha, you have to check it. It is mod t is less than t alpha by 2. That means what? Here null hypothesis is accepted. So in this way you have to find out the t distribution by using two means, that is n1 and n2, which is x bar and y bar. So now let us see one more problem so that this two means problem will be very clear, which is the means of two random sample of sizes are given. That means what? Here solution, let us see what is given here. n1 and n2 values are 9 and 7. So now here means of two random samples, this is the mean 1, this is a mean 2, which is given here. So x bar and y bar, we can consider it as x bar and y bar, right? 196.42 and y bar is nothing but 198.82. These are the values of x bar and y bar. And now from n1 and n2, if you get it, then you can find n1 plus n2 minus 2, right? Which is nothing but 9 plus 7 minus 2, which is nothing but 14. So in this case, we are given with alpha, which is nothing but alpha is equals to 5%. Level of significance is given as 5%. And here, sum of squares of deviations, that means what? Summation of xi minus x bar whole square and summation of yi minus y bar whole square. Sum of squares of standard deviations are given, which are 26.94 and 18.73. Here it is printing mistake, which is there is no n here. So 26.94 and 18.73, sorry, which is not 72, right, which is 73, it is given in the question. So now let us find out what is s here. S, we know that s square is equals to 26.94 plus 18.73 and divided by 14, right? Because the sum of these two and divided by nu, which is nothing but s square is equal to 3.26. So s becomes square root of 3.26, which is equals to 1.806. This is the value of s. Now let us proceed step by step, which is step 1 is nothing but null hypothesis, where mu1 is equals to mu2. Now coming to the step 2, which is nothing but alternative hypothesis. Here it is mu1 which is not equals to mu2. Now step 3 is level of significance, right? Level of significance is nothing but alpha, which is given as 5%. Now we are going to find out what is t value. That means in the step 4 we are going to find test statistics, that is t is equals to, we know that x bar minus y bar by s into square root of 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2. So we are having each and every value, so we are just substituting all values here, which is x bar and y bar, and we are also having s, n1 and n2. So let us substitute all the values as 196 minus 42 minus 196.42 minus 198.82 divided by 1.806 into square root of 1 by 9 plus 1 by 7. So if you further simplify this, you will get it as minus 2.636. So this is the value which we got here. So let us see whether null hypothesis is accepted or null hypothesis is rejected. So in the step 5, we are going to find out t alpha by 2 value from the t distribution table. You will get it as 2.145. That means, what did you observe here? Mod t value which we got is less than t alpha by 2 value. That means minus 2.636, it is less than 2.145. That means what here? It is less than the t alpha by 2 value. That means null hypothesis is accepted in this case. So in this way you have to find out the problems of two means. That means test the hypothesis of two means, then you have to find out in this way by using 5 steps in the step-by-step procedure, and at the last you have to say whether null hypothesis is accepted or it is rejected. So thank you for watching the video. Let us meet in the next video.